The House of Mystery presents Inside Writing, the radio show where authors discuss their writing process in all genres.
Welcome back into the show, and today we have a special guest. We have a couple, actually. Returning, of course, is Rick Karatash, and he's helping me because he's written a song, and we've got this great singer, Adrian Christian. How are you doing, both you guys?
Hey, Alan, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on. It's really, really great of you, and of course, thanks to Rick who introduced us.
Yes, thanks for having me on again. I'm gonna, we're gonna talk about the wonderful singer Adrian and have a good time.
Well, actually, first, so how does someone like you guys? How do you guys collaborate? How does this start? And how do you know that you can give a song to someone like Adrian and go that he'll like it and works out? Like, where does that all begin?
You want to go first, Rick?
All right. Yeah. Well, I had done a video to the original version of the song, and Adrian was actually an actor in the video. And he liked the song so much that when he was recording his Christmas CD down in Nashville, he said, "I would love to record this song." I'm like, "I would love to have you record the song," because he's a great singer. I have his EP, A Song for You, and I've heard him sing live in church, and it sings even better live than or as good, if not better, live. So I was like very excited for him to say I would like to record it. So it really came out of, me doing kind of a version of the song and a video, and then him liking it enough to record it. And then I guess, Adrian, you can tell a little bit about how you did that in Nashville and all that. But yeah, I remember the day you said when we were on the set of the video, shooting the video, that I think I may record this song. And I was like, that was like, to me, that
I wasn't going to tell that story. I was going to say that we were right atop of the Smoky Mountains out in Tennessee, and we looked at each other. I said, "Sudrick," and you said, "Yeah, Adrian." And I said, "That Midnight Will Be Clear would be an awesome song to record, don't you think?" And you said, "My partner, I reckon you're right." And that's exactly how I think it happened. But no,
except
what happened
New York,
was,
and we don't talk like that.
well, the thing is that his version, Rick, Sudi has a catalog of songs as a songwriter, and there are gems in there that I'm like, I haven't even begun to scratch. And we became friends over the period of a year and a half. And when we met, we were both about to release. I was releasing the CD. He was releasing his book, Rainbow Relatives. And so a friendship struck, a genuine friendship. And then, we were very much in common, East Coasters, New York, both came here for the same reasons to Los Angeles. And then this song, he had a couple of songs that he was doing these short films for, but he wanted to make a video for Midnight Will Be Clear as a short for film festivals, and it got admitted and recognized by some film festivals. So I shot background for it, but upon working on it, I said to him, I would love to record this, and he said I'd be honored, and I, sure enough, true to form, I kept my promise, because I was recording 2 albums, one being a Christmas album, and there would be 2 originals, this one and another. And so I was in Nashville at the beginning of the year already recording it. And then, of course, when I got back home, the lockdown happened. And so the album is still in process for 2021, but Midnight Will Be Clear was ready in the can, ready to go. It kind of like manifested itself so easily because it was really, it wrote itself and it recorded itself. And the difference, I think people ask, is that his version is a songwriter's version, like a demo, and it has leanings towards, in my mind, towards Phil Spector Christmas album. Like it had some of the feeling of the Ronettes and Crystals and the girl groups and that kind of thing. And mine, with my voice, it just lent itself to country. It just kind of went there.
What do you look for in a song? Is it something that it says? Is it like a feeling, a melody? Like what is it that will catch you and you go, this is it?
There has to be. I mean, I don't look for like the most commercial things, but there has to be an intangible thing of like, oh, there's something magical in here. There's something in there, and it has to feel authentic, like real, not just manufactured and formulaic. So, although there are times when, one can do, certain things that are formulaic to R&B or pop or whatever, that's okay. But the song, the foundation has got to be real to begin with. So this rung really, really real to me, and it spoke to me in such a deep way because I'd never heard, Alan, a Christmas song that spoke about being sober, that spoke about, to the recovery community, someone who dried up and stopped drinking. And then suddenly, so this man, became sober and he's about to have the best Christmas of his life because now he can see clearly. So that to me was original. Like I had never heard a Christmas song like that. I don't think anyone here has. So, and yet I've never had a drink, and Rick is not a drinker. And so
I'll drink
to that, right?
No, I drink on occasion, any occasion. No,
but it was not that kind of it wasn't like you don't have to have the experience of a song to sing it, just like you don't have to have the experience of a life tragedy to act it as an actor. You have to draw upon things to be able to do it. And this being a story song, it just, again, it lent itself to being country. So it just shot at me like I heard it and I thought, Adrian, this is your song. This can't be anybody else's song. Rick wrote it, but he honored me with being the first recording artist to officially release it. And I felt a little bit like Tina Turner when she did Proud Mary. She always believed it was hers.
Huh.
Mm.
She has nicer legs. Sorry, but.
Oh. well, there you go. Nothing like that. You'll have to work on that.
I will. But Tina and I are both Sagittarius, so we got that going on.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Better be good.
Yes.
I just wondered. So because as a writer, you kind of have to do that. How do you get inside to make it real? Because you were saying, okay, so you don't really drink. It's not really been an issue.
Alan, I love this question. Because I'll never forget the day we recorded it. And we shot some pictures for, while I was recording in Nashville. It was a cold winter day, and I was in the booth, and I just thought, you have to live up to the material. You have to serve the music. Like you have to actually, I took it very seriously because I knew that this was important and I knew this was going to affect a lot of people. And you draw upon your own experiences. And I had the experience of, I've been to an Al-Anon meeting. I've dated, or had relationship with people who drank a lot, and I've been close enough to the experience to understand and I walked away. Actually, I haven't talked about this, but I walked away from a relationship because of it, and so there was some of that. But I even though I don't drink, I do understand addiction in the sense of I would be a horrible drinker. if I drank, I wouldn't be able to handle it. There are people who can, and I know I can't because, you know, I'm crazy already. You know what I mean? I don't need icebreakers. So, as you can tell, I can't stop talking. But there are things that you draw upon in your life just as an actor. For me, I had to put myself in it, and I could feel the text, the literal text, the words, Rick's words, and I didn't want to fudge it. I didn't want to do too much to it because it was already there. I thought of it as precious, to be honest. Beautiful song.
What started you on this journey into doing music?
I think that the whole thing has been like everything that I do has been about healing, and music is a real strong part of that. So when I was 6 years old, I told my mother I was on a mission, and I started singing when I was 7, but my family didn't know for a year. I was singing in school and then in church, and so, you know, and then I professionally got my start at 13 as an actor, and then sang in nightclubs at age 15. I was underage and nobody knew. So I was doing this kind of stuff because I knew early on that this is what I needed to do. It spoke to me, and also as a kid, I always felt some kind of closeness to God. I could feel a presence that was bigger than me, and I felt like this was my calling, if you will.
Well, that's interesting. So how did you know when it was time to pursue it? I mean, you know, you start as a youngster, and you're working your way through it, and you're feeling it. But what was that point that you had the confidence to actually go with it? And you're basically putting your life on this, like you're putting it on the line in a sense. You're going, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But there has to be a turning point there where you're going, yeah, this is what I am.
Pretty amazing. So many things running through my mind. Being a kid, trying so many times and failing, and doing my first concert at 21, 700 people showing up, always trying and never getting it quite right, and stumbling upon, you know, doing all the small rinky-dink bars, and, you know, trying out your material, just like a comedian trying out their material in clubs in front of strangers, and falling flat on your face, but you know there's something in you, and you're the only one that knows it, but people don't really see it yet, because until you really believe in yourself, and until you really believe that this is exactly where you belong, because I never believed it. I never believed I belonged. I was trying for all these years. I tried to audition to high school performing arts in New York, and I was rejected because we had moved over to New Jersey. And so there were so many, you have to have failure. You have to endure failure, and you have to extrapolate the lessons from all of those things. And then, so I had I was in the hospital, nearly like dying, and anemia, malnutrition, you name it. I was just like gone. And I had ran myself to the ground in 2012 because I didn't love myself. And so I just as much as I think all of those years I was doing it because I wanted someone to acknowledge me, and I wanted the external to love me. And at that point, I was in the hospital. I was at Cedars-Sinai for 3 weeks. And from that experience, I had this interaction, this experience, this enlightened experience with God. And I realized that none of that mattered, that I could forgive everyone that harmed me. And I didn't die. And in that moment, I realized that, okay, if I'm alive, I've got to do everything that I really set out to do with no fear. And at that point, at that point, things started happening. And what's crazy is that I was going to give you the other version of the story, which is that I had a record deal on the table in New York like some years ago, and, over a decade ago, and they wanted me to be straight. And I, being a gay male, was unwilling to be in the closet. And so I walked away from the deal, came to LA, found some churches that were inclusive of the LGBT community. And then, in that 10-year period, the Supreme Court ruled on gay marriage. And that was another shift. That was a shift that also, because suddenly everybody wanted to work with me. Suddenly the doors were opening after that. And I met my producer, and it just all started falling into place. So part of it was, the best answer I can give you is that I had to love myself, but part of it also was that the world had to be ready for me.
Well, and how does that happen? Like you're doing country music, and,
right,
and that is traditionally, a conservative
hetero.
Sort of, yeah. Well, it's. I want to say redneck, but I don't, because it doesn't have to be. What I mean is, in general, it's not it doesn't go along with being gay or the gay lifestyle. So
true.
How do you,
and Billy Gilman, who's gay, when he was a kid, he had a hit record, but now he's an adult and out of the closet, out gay, and he doesn't have a career. I know friends that were rejected by the recording industry for being gay. Billy Porter was one of them, friend of mine. And look at him, he's the first out gay person to win the Emmy for Best Actor. Times they are a-changing. What were you going to say, Rick?
Well, in Nashville, it is very hard even still to be gay and out and open. Because Shelley
Right.
Wright also was, came out of the closet, and there are still.
It's not the same career, exactly. However, I don't think that my sexuality is the focus of my career. And so I don't think it matters in my case, because I'm not, waving a flag and pushing the issue. I'm just living my life, and people honestly care less and less these days. It's like Darius Rucker, who is black, and that, there was a time when you never saw a black person doing country music.
Except
right?
for Charlie Pride.
That's right. But you see the exception, the Sammy Davis Juniors of the world. And so what's breaking ground is that country music seems to be the true American music, and that there is now infusion of different hip hop and R&B has made its way into country, and you are seeing artists, when you see artists like Carrie Underwood with Keith Urban doing a song that sounds like an R&B kind of song, there's something. When you see a hip hop artist, who went viral on TikTok, and he has got the #1 record on country, and he's black and young, and the kids don't care. And this is what I'm saying, is that there's a shift happening. Times they are changing. It's happening.
Yeah, but there's, in the U.S. especially,
yes.
there's the last 4 years has been a huge backlash.
Yes.
Right? There's been a huge pushback. And if anything,
right.
People are really divided. They like to call each other names. And so there's going to be a resistance to that, to you, in a sense of you're representing. And if you make it real big, or the bigger you make it in your career, the more of a pushback there will be from the opposition. Do you understand what I'm saying, right?
I completely understand, because there's a pendulum, and it swings one way and then it swings the other way. In the last 4 years, especially, what I really found that got revealed more than anything was how racist we all already were, or at least prejudices, and how the country has been more racist than they let on. In other words, they've always been, I believe that people have always felt this way, this divided way, and it's only being revealed because there was a catalyst who a channel that was opened for them to really come out and be this way. It was happening. You know, black people have, and I have black in my family. I'm Puerto Rican. And so black people have always felt this way of like, imagine you're growing up and you don't see any programming on TV really, or movies where, you know, you watch shows like Friends and there's not a black or Spanish person in there, and they're in New York. You know, you wonder what, and we wonder why they feel so disenfranchised and on the outside, because there's no inclusivity. And then when you see a black show, it's a black show, you know, and the world is not like that. So what I'm saying is that this is true. Hatred will always be there, and my job is not to decide how other people feel. My job is to not give a shit. I don't know if I can get that on air, but my job is to be myself as authentically, and people can take me or not. But it's not me that's up for judgment. It's my work. I hope that people will look at my work, and I think that my work really takes center stage. If they like it, they like it. If they don't, that's okay. I know people who say, you know, oh, I'm not crazy about Cher's politics, but I love Cher. That's that kind of thing. It's like, you don't have to, you know, I'm not asking people to like me. I'm just asking to be able to have a place in this world like everybody else and have my work out there. And Rick and I are doing works that, you know, speak to reflecting real life, you know, all people.
Well, I think that's true. I look at it that way myself.
Yeah.
Because there is backlash to
Yeah.
my show. But, you know, you just got to look forward and pay attention.
Yeah, I'm
to
like,
what
bring
you're
it
doing.
on. You know, it's okay. You could say whatever you want to say. I go on social media, and people, you know, over the last 4 years have said all kinds of things, and people, you know, it doesn't matter. So, you know, you could say anything when you're hiding behind a computer with a fake name and no picture. I mean, you could do that and troll anybody, but the truth is that I'm standing with my face, my name, my reputation, and I speak truth to my truth. And I have tried to you know, encourage people to see other views, but I'm not there to change people's minds, because people already decided where they were. They already decided who they were going to vote for in 2016 and 2020. You know, you either are a person who cares about the human race and others, or you are a person who only cares about yourself.
So with all of this going on around, this is an everyday life. Everything, you know, the social media, you turn on the TV, you turn on the news. Everywhere you go, there's been a lot of tension. To throw in COVID and everything else in 2020. Mm-hmm. And I my opinion is that you are singing from your heart. It's very important to you to get something across to people. So that's how I feel. But does all of this outside stuff affect the way you, I don't know, inflect, what you let absorb into you as you do these songs?
No, because I'm an artist first, and what I feel is I'm reflecting off of what's out there in terms of reporting. I'm reporting life, human experiences. Like Midnight Will Be Clear about this man who went through this thing. So I'm telling the story as a narrator, and I'm being compassionate towards this person in the song, and this is a real life kind of situation. So I'm reflecting that, but I'm not allowing trends, for instance, or oh my goodness, what people want, or the packaging. Look, I told you the record label wanted me to play straight. They wanted me to do a music video with girls and thongs and all that, and I wasn't going to do it.
What, you in the thong or them?
Them. If it was me in the thong, I would have said okay. But no, I just feel like, I mean, I I don't have anything against women. I love women. I think women are beautiful. I think women are beautiful naked. I have no issues with women like that. It's just that it wasn't real. It was, how many artists have you seen over the years that were packaged, manufactured? You get a Britney Spears who becomes really popular, and then 10 Britney clones come on afterwards. The music industry is like that. They try to, they run a trend to the ground because it's all money. But what happened was the internet came. And when the internet came, it knocked down the music industry big time. And then indie artists like myself could afford to do our thing and be ourselves. We didn't have to be polished and packaged by the big record label. So that was a good change. It's harder to get the big masses and numbers, but at least I can live with myself, Yeah,
it's real. What do you suggest to someone who is, let's say, in your shoes 10 years younger, and
yes.
they're kind of not sure what to do? I mean, because the music business has changed. It's way different now than it was in the 80s and 90s and the days of how people get their music. So what do you suggest to someone that's young, that's starting out, and they're serious about being into a career of music and singing and that? What would you tell them for advice?
Get into acting. No, I was going to say, I would say really get a lot of when I was 14 years old, someone said this to me. He was a mentor, and he said to me, learn the history, learn everything about it, learn everything, because things go in circles and they happen over and over and over again. It doesn't matter how many changes it happens, but the basic thing remains the same, is that you still have to have the goods, you still have to hone your craft, you still have to work at it, you still have to have discipline. It's a lot of hard work. And the truth is, to the kids, and I just said this the other day, I know a lot of kids that want to just do it and boom, they make it. I'm interested in a career, not just a hit, but it doesn't happen that way. It takes time. It takes time to really be good. See, my thing was, I was doing all of that. I was in clubs. I had a dance record that hit the top 40 in Chicago. Some years ago, that's what caught the attention of this big record label, Sony. It was Sony Records at the time. And all of that was great, and it was experience, but all I really wanted, at one point I stopped wanting to be famous and I started wanting to be good. So, you could do a quick thing. You could do a quick, whatever. You could do a Miley Cyrus with the foam finger, or you could do whatever. You could do a stunt, but that's just, it comes and it goes, right? But what's lasting is, does the song stand the test of time? And is there really something there that people want to come back to see you live and perform again and again? And ultimately, it takes work and time, and it takes being a little older to do that. So, I'm not too, because things like Nicki Minaj and all that, they come and they go, and I'm not knocking her. She's done tremendously well for herself. These people break ground with, Cardi B is from the Bronx, just like I'm from the Bronx. And, I'm always proud when someone else breaks out and breaks through, because it means that we have diversity. It's all good. It's just that in order to really, are you a personality, or are you a singer, or are you an artist, a musician? So for me, it's always been about the work. And that's what I think is important, that kids know, that they distinguish the difference.
Well, what do you think about people like, okay, because when you say that, how about someone like Madonna?
Okay.
Who's survived really since the 80s and still
Right.
does well. And, as people would say, reinvent. One thing that I do notice is she goes and takes guitar lessons or singing lessons.
Yeah.
She's doing things, which is a good thing. But What do you think about musicians like that? Like, where do you stand?
Another thing that kids should understand, don't think that you've done it and it's all over. Like the fact that she went out and got guitar lessons and she's like, okay, what now? You know, her last album, which I have not heard, but I understand that she has nothing to prove to anyone because there is no industry the way there used to be. She could afford to record however she wanted to. And so, you know, she's kind of acting out of her heart right now, is what I understand. What's interesting about Madonna to me is that she came onto the scene and she broke through something for women that women were not allowed to do before, which was to have the permission to be sexual, have their sexuality and in their music and in performance without asking for permission. To assume the dominant role that men have had. So she was working in a man's world and she was able to break through in that way and own her sexuality through her music and performance, costume, all that. So that was wonderful because no one had broken that until her. And so, and also, but also, kids have to know she's a songwriter. She wrote songs. She had something to say. She wanted equality, you know. And you go through your trials, and she went through all that. What I could say about some of those people from that era is sometimes you're famous and you get stuck on the thing you became famous for, and then you never move forward. At least she moved forward, you know. And then she, you know, I love Bitch I'm Madonna. I love that song. And she had all these artists on and she knows how to collaborate with Missy Elliott and she knows how to continue on and she has a massive base. So it's all good whatever she does at this point, even though, you know, I haven't been excited about anything new of hers, but I love what she did.
So who are your influences then? Who do you draw from or who inspires you?
There are so many people that I look to for different reasons in terms of recording. When we did my EP and we recorded All Consuming Fire in the studio, the craftsmanship, the creating the music, I paid a lot of attention to Karen and Richard Carpenter. I paid attention to people like that who really had lush arrangements and how they, you know, Neil Diamond also had orchestrations, symphonic kind of arrangements for, you know, pop rock songs, and some of them being, you know, like Holly Holy, some of them being, you know, a bit gospel, you know, touch of that too. So Donna Summer, you know, was to me an amazing artist. Cher is someone who took a long time to find her musical voice, but she's always been like the greatest cabaret star of all time, you know, and meaning that on stage, concert, live, she's a master. She's a master class in that. I'm a pop singer first and foremost, but all of the, you know, country music, we have Dolly Parton, we have Crystal Gayle, we have so many and relevant country artists that you hear about now. Reba McEntire I loved. I can listen to you know, Blake Shelton or like I said, Keith Urban earlier. I can listen to a lot of these guys. But there's some others like Juice Newton, people we haven't heard of. Like there's some obscure things that I love, you know. So I draw upon everything. There's just so many. I have a complete Beatles collection of vinyl mono box. I have Fleetwood Mac. I can go on and on. My record collection is incredibly diverse. I listen to records. I listen to vinyl.
Yeah, I hear Rick's got mono too. So
Actually, I did have mono when I was like 30. Everybody gets mono when they're like a teenager or in high school. I got it when I was like freaking 30.
Rick, everyone doesn't get mono. I hate to tell you.
Well, let's amuse. Yeah, everybody gets it. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I'm posting that online.
I was listening to the show with Rick the other day, and I was thinking to myself, like, he was giving all the stories about, about being a caterer, and, I wanted to talk to you guys. I wanted to jump in on that show so badly, but go ahead.
Yeah, he's a character. So
He truly is.
Some people say I'm a card. Some people say I'm a deck.
Boo. Wow. So where do you playing live now that COVID's out and all this has been happening this last year? I'd imagine a lot of your live shows are just not happening. So do you really like playing live? Is live more important to you than even recording, or where do you feel?
It isn't more important. It's a part of the process, because when you asked earlier about, like, does outside influence what you do when you're creating, my live performances give me a gauge as to if I'm connecting, if I'm really making a connection. So in that way, I care about live, and also, we have such a great time, and it's an experience, a shared experience, like a spiritual experience when singing live. But I was fortunate that at the top of 2020, I was recording. I'm doing so much recording and I've been working, we mixed and mastered Midnight Will Be Clear virtually. We did it over FaceTime. So it was not, but I had the vocals already done, and I'm in one room by myself, and then there's, and then there's Kevin Leach. A shout out to my producer, who is amazing, and gifted, a young cat, who, by the way, he didn't care about this gay thing. He was just like, what? He just made no sense. Kids don't get this thing that we're talking about, but we grew up in a time when, you could lose your job for being gay. It was not long ago. And people didn't want to appear in the Pride March because they would be found out, things like that. People, like I said, Billy Porter, he lost a record deal, with A&M Records. I'm naming names right now, but it happened. And so people are different now, but they don't realize what people sacrificed for us to have some of these freedoms. It's trickling slow, but it is happening. It's not the same as it was. I wouldn't be able to be here talking to you. I couldn't get a phone call returned.
Well, yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, Ellen.
No, how do you find it hard to meet people now, that you're recording and you're sort of, this is a career for you, and you're sort of in the spotlight. People see you, they know you, and how do you know you can trust people and when you interact with people?
Wow. Rick, Alan asks questions nobody asks.
I know.
Amazing. Well, if we're talking about being single, I have a hubby. I'm married. And he is the sweetest, the most amazing man. When we met, I was coming out of my truth from that experience that I had. So when my life had changed and everything shifted, everything changed after that. By the way, that hospital experience, everything changed. And that's when everything started. And I had given up wanting to meet anyone. I thought, okay, I can be single. My mom's around, and I have friends, dinner parties, I could, dinner parties, whoever says that anymore. But and I would be happy, movie nights and stuff like that. As far as people, yes, people have come and gone. People come around, and you could tell after a while, if you're around long enough, you realize when people are really there because of you or not. I've gotten better at it. So, but yeah, I have met quite a few characters over my time who, were around because they thought something was happening, but then my career took so long to happen that they just dropped by the wayside. Now it's like I'm getting hot, and now people are suddenly calling me. No, bye.
Yeah, the old, don't you remember me?
I'm like, who? You know.
Madonna calls, I'm not here. Remember that song?
I mean, I really give chances to people. Like, I really feel like, you know, I understand, but it speaks more about them. And I always kind of say to myself, okay, I can trust a person until you realize they can't be trusted. And some people have their limitation, and that's okay. That's all they know. This is a huge subject. It's like, you know, why do people hurt you? Well, you allow yourself to be hurt, and you allow yourself to be hurt because, you know, you're letting someone else have the power to hurt you. So for me, it's really that if they, you know, I've come to realize that, and this goes into family and therapy, and goodness, Alan, I'm going to have to lay down soon so that I can talk about my, but this is really like, I've come to understanding with my family, for instance, perfect example, is that they only knew what they knew, and their limitation was on how they understood things. They couldn't understand my experience, and I've been able to love my family as they are, and I know that there are limitations to that. There are boundaries. So you set boundaries, but I'm able to still be okay with them.
Well, and isn't that part of it anyway? Because even myself, you know, there's people, when you look at your family, as soon as you go home, you're still the son, you're still the younger brother, or, you know what I mean? I don't know that they'll ever look at you as something different. I don't know, because I still feel very, I feel like the baby of the family if I'm around any of my family now. Do you know what I mean?
I had a conversation with my sister. I'm the baby also. Of 4. And I had a conversation with my sister, Mary, happy birthday, yesterday. And she said some really nice, sweet things, about Midnight Will Be Clear. She said, wow, all those years, like, you really learned how to record, because she had heard me when I was bad. You know, that's the thing. Your family knows you when you're in your diapers and you got snots running out of your nose, you know?
Right.
So to see you in a different light and see people respecting you, they may not be used to that. It's true. But she said to me, she was so sweet. She said, like, you really learned, like, you really, like, all those years that she knows that I worked for a long time for it. It's not that she's like my biggest fan or anything, but she gave me some props, you know, like, and I was just like, wow. And she said, and it's really good. And she says to me, and this is the first song I recorded, and she says this. She says, I had to hear it over and over. I have to hear it over and over. And people are saying that about Midnight Will Be Clear. So the thing is that, you know, and then my other sister, Eliana, she and I had a conversation a few days ago, and she kind of still sees me like when I was 18, you know, and she's older, and she sees me like that. And so when she saw the cover shot for Midnight Will Be Clear and heard it, she was stunned. She was stunned, but she still thinks of me as 18. And, you know, people are wherever they are. You know, that's, you know.
Well, you only look 18.
I do my best, I tell you. It's 'cause it ain't pretty sometimes.
Yeah, I know that feeling. But wow. Now, how does it come out? Like, the single is out now, and the album comes out when?
Next Christmas, next Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. So how do people?
I wanted to have a single out now for this holiday, and also when the pandemic came. I mean, Midnight Will Be Clear initially a song about, this man and the story about him coming to the best Christmas. But when the pandemic came, it took on a new meaning, and it seemed like the right song to come out now for people who have been feeling so down and out over this lockdown and over the coronavirus, the COVID-19, this tragic crisis, and people we've lost, and all of those things that are happening right now. It's like we need relief, and there's been so much in the news cycle, all the noise. Every day is the same thing. It's like a soap opera. It's like 20 minutes later. I mean, later that afternoon, it's the same story, and so and months have passed, and it's still later that afternoon. So that's what's happening in the news cycle, and people are just so overwhelmed with this that they need relief, and entertainment, I think, has a lot of value, especially, again, a song like this that's healing, and it just brings up a good feeling, not an artificial Christmas feeling of let's go and buy at Macy's, but no, it's like a song that just makes you feel good, and people needed this right now. So, and what we've gone through this year. So I'm so happy that we were able to release it right now for this Christmas, because this Christmas, after the election happened, will be the best one in a long time. And just like the song says.
How do people pick up your music now? I guess on iTunes, and do you have a website?
Yeah, it's everywhere, and adrianchristian.com. You could get it everywhere. It's everywhere under the sun. You pick up my pillow. It's there. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
iTunes, and Spotify. Yeah.
Yes, Amazon for Android users. Go to Amazon. It's on Spotify. But buy it, support it, because it's $1. It's 99 cents. So buy it and support it. Have it on your phone. Let it lift your spirit when you're laying down at night. Listen to it. People are watching it on YouTube a lot now. It's getting a lot of views right now. So it's really I'm just rocked out about it. It's an amazing blessing, and I'm just thrilled that I was able to. Rick and I are doing a lot of different projects together. We have something coming in January that in late January that for another song. So that's going to be fun too, and music video that's going to come out.
What's it like working with Rick? Because he's a professional stripper and performer.
Well, that's what he did, and I said, no, Rick, put your clothes back on, please. Not on this video. So he's so used to it, him and his thong, Yeah. But no, he's a professional. Are you kidding? He's a trooper. He's the biggest trooper. That's the truth. I don't mean to gush, but I got to pretend he's not here, but he really is. I feel like we were meant. We were meant. It's just really, I'm just really thankful for him, and I love working with him. Everybody loves working with Rick.
It must be hard, but right now, because of the with COVID and all that, you can't.
Except his husband, but
Yeah, wow. Well, then plus he's in the old age home, right, too, so you can't go there.
That's it, Alan. We're coming after you. After this epidemic, we're coming for you.
At my age, the only exercise I get is jogging
At
my memory.
my age, I tell you,
Jogging my memory. That's the only exercise
I love that Adrian Christian and his song. I love it.
Yeah.
No, he's, some people are meant to do it forever. And no matter how old we get, we're going to be doing this. There's no stopping us. You can't even stop it.
Oh, I guess, yeah. And, you do what you love. And the world's a much easier place in the sense of doing things now than it was even 20 years ago, too.
Isn't it amazing that we can Well, not everyone has the luxury of doing what they love. You know, some people putting food on the table is so difficult they can't get a job. Some people don't really know exactly why what their purpose is. So I don't take this for granted. I don't take this for granted. And also, my doors were shut for so many years. So I don't take for granted that I have this opportunity right now and that I'm doing stuff that people love. And so people are liking the song. I'm thrilled to pieces about it, and I just really feel so blessed. So to be able to do what we love is a great thing, and I'm so thankful every single day. I say thank you, God. I have a gratitude journal that I keep on my Facebook page, which you can, go to adrianchristian.com and you can link to all my links there. But on Facebook, I keep a daily, and I'm on day number 1,399 or something, 95, and days of gratitude. And throughout this time, I got the EP made. I started recording all this stuff. My life changed just by being grateful for what I have.
Your phone is ringing. Is that Madonna? Did you put her on hold?
If it's Madonna, tell her. I just did it on my watch. Because I don't know where the phone is.
You put her on hold? My God.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, she can wait.
I mean, Rick and I have a hit record. She's got to wait for us.
Yeah. She's in line now. She wants to work with you, see?
Yeah. Would I work with her? I don't know. Those things, it's like Rick and I, those things have to come organically in the right song, the right kind of vibe, the right feeling. Although I would kill to work with Cher.
You would do a duet with her in a second. Come on.
With Cher, with Cher and with Dolly, definitely.
Yeah, but even Madonna, in the sense that she's a hard worker and she's
I'll write a song.
Something in her mind.
Now that you say that, I did love what she did with Justin Timberlake. I did love 4 Minutes was great.
I'm going to write
I would do a song like that with
5 minutes
her.
to save the world. I'm writing it right now.
Yeah, get on that. Let's go. Well,
These days it's 60 seconds.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly been a pleasure. You're a lot of fun. And
thank you.
We will have your website and your song up on ours as well, so people one click and they can pick it up. And
Alan, thank you for playing the song. Thank you for letting your listeners hear it, and thank you for supporting us and for having us on. And I wish your listeners a Merry Christmas, a really safe Christmas and time, to be very careful because it's been so difficult, but for them to know that they are loved, and I love them for listening to our song and to support it, and I want to just say thank you to all of them and to you.
Well, thank you. Our guest has been Adrian Christian.
It's Christmas Eve in the past. He would go to midnight mass. He'd sing songs of praise with gin on his breath, his mind in the haze. Not a day went by. He didn't need to get higher. The taste of his drink, as sweet as the sound of the choir. His favorite song of the season is always ringing in his ears. His New Year's resolution, he put down the bottle, it's been almost a year. His Christmas will be the first one in a long time. Midnight will be clear. Midnight will be clear. He'd been on a downhill slide, lost friends, his job, his pride. So he sank to his knees, looked up at the stars, said, Lord, help me please. As soon as he did, he felt peace in his soul. On this holy day, he'd sing that glorious song of old. His favorite song of the season is always ringing in his ears. His New it clear. This Christmas will be the first one in a long time. Midnight will be clear.
To find out more about our show, guests, or to listen to past shows from our archive, please go to www.houseofmysteryradio.com.
Show's over for now.
Was it as good for you as it was for me?
Well, good night.
This has been a production of Something Weird Media.
I'll be back.